Hello, YouTube. This video is talking about 9 ways to know if you grew up in a dysfunctional family. And the point of this video is not to make you feel bad or defeated, but rather, number one, to validate you if you feel like the black sheep of your family, for example. Definitely, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. And so, if you feel like you're going crazy, then this is just validation that you are not. And number two, to let you know that it's okay to ask for help. There's a lot of benefits to seeking help, like clearing your emotional body so you can focus more on yourself. I know that when I get stressed out, sometimes I just emotionally feel paralyzed where I can't focus on doing my work. So, anyways, this is going to help you by identifying maybe the traits of a dysfunctional family. It'll help you so that you can focus more on yourself and your goals and clear space in your life to create new things. Perhaps you're in school still and you want to focus on studying and you just can't focus because there's all of this kind of heaviness that is affecting your heart and your whole emotional body. So, this video is to help you identify those traits so that you can feel comfortable asking for help. By the way, I think the term dysfunctional in regards to dysfunctional family is thrown around a lot these days. There's no perfect family, and really that's important to know. I think at least at one point or another, everyone thinks that their family is dysfunctional. So, um, just know that there are healthier ways to handle things. And when you're listening to these traits of a dysfunctional family, and more importantly, as an adult, know that you have that control. You don't need to be constantly people pleasing or completely forgetting your own boundaries or sacrificing your mental peace just because you are loyal to your family. Oftentimes, in many cases, changing your own behavior and setting an example is the best thing that you can do. So, have you ever heard that saying, if you want to heal the world, heal yourself? Well, yes, that's very relevant right now. So, all right, without further ado, I'll dive in and I'm going to give a quick shout out to Nedra Ta- Tawab on Instagram, who actually listed these 9 things that if you grew up in a dysfunctional family, you probably thought was normal. So, number one, forgiving and forgetting with no change in behavior. So, obviously, it's really great to forgive quick. Relationships and families who can forgive each other quickly is a wonderful trait. You're not holding a grudge for a long time. You're letting that energy move through you, pass through you, and moving on to the next moment, and you're forgiving. And also, when you forgive not only other people, but when you forgive yourself, you're just not carrying that energy anymore. And so forgiving is a wonderful thing, especially forgiving fast. So forgiving and forgetting is great, but when you're doing it with no change in behavior, meaning that you're forgetting about it and then maybe the same thing is happening again, that's when it can become detrimental. So, number two, moving on as if nothing happened. So, kind of exactly what I just said. If you're going to move on and maybe something happened and then you're just going to pretend like it didn't happen, obviously, it's very important to talk through things when you have a problem. And just like think about it, if you're not getting validated, if something is wrong and your family's pretending like it's not a big deal, that is not healthy and that could drive someone literally crazy. Because think about it again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So, if your family's going along and pretending like, maybe something huge happened, but it's become the norm. So they're pretending like it's no big deal or like nothing happened at all. That could literally drive someone crazy if there is something going down that y'all should be discussing. All right, number three, covering up problems for others. So I can't emphasize how, okay, when we take responsibility and ownership for what's going on with us, how helpful that is to a family unit, because you're not just blaming everybody else for your problems. And I think a lot of times in families are so concerned with their family reputation that they're always covering for each other, and that is not helping that person grow. That is stunting their growth, and it's not making them take ownership for their own problems so that they can grow out of it and find solutions for themselves. Number four, denying that a problem exists. So you see this a lot. That if it's a common. Have you ever heard with like if there's addiction in families, or um, basically they say that once admitting and acknowledging that there is a problem is like half the battle. So let's say somebody is I don't know, maybe it's just something silly like big brother's picking on little sister, but they're not the big brother isn't owning up to the fact that that is happening. So obviously it can't be fixed if you're not going to address it. So number one, the first is awareness. And if you're denying that a problem exists, you can't fix that, or find a solution whatsoever. All right, next, let's see, we're on 5. Keeping secrets that needed to be shared. So there's a lot that can go down in a family with, for example, younger kids that are happening and they don't want to tell mom and dad. Or maybe you're an adolescent and you're having parties or something, or maybe there's just like really deep things that the harder the topic is to share, the less you're going to want to share it. The harder it is to talk about, the less you're going to want to talk about it. But there are things that are sexual abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse or verbal abuse, or maybe just any lies, anything that is bigger than yourself. If you feel like it's wrong, if you feel like it should be told to somebody but you don't feel comfortable telling them, it probably does need to be told to somebody. But the important part is finding a safe person to share that with. Maybe your parents aren't the right people to talk to. Maybe you want to talk to an aunt or an uncle or a teacher, or just somebody, a friend or a friend's parent, just somebody that you trust, that is a safe space for you to talk to. I think sometimes as parents or family members, they put so much guilt on themselves, or like they think it's their fault if something's going on with their child. But I would say whoever you need to talk to, that you feel is a safe person to talk to, it's better to share these secrets that need to be shared. Okay. Next is pretending to be fine. You know, especially in larger families or just anybody. And if you're not okay, it is okay for you to not be okay. And creating that space to listen, like to actually share your emotions, is very important. So if your family unit or is not asking you how you're doing or acknowledging your feelings and emotions, that's not safe. I mean, that's it's not that, it's just, it could be dysfunctional. It's just not healthy is what it is. Um and then not expressing your emotions, kind of along the same lines. Everyone has a right to their feelings. There's there's no feelings that are right or wrong. If you feel something, you're entitled to the way that you feel. Now, whether whether like, yeah, your feeling is your feeling. And so you should, like, it's always healthy to express your emotions. um and if it is a mature enough person that you're speaking with, they should receive that information well and not be defensive or think that it's their problem when you're sharing your emotions. You are entitled to your feelings, and it's a healthy environment. It's a healthy environment when you can share how you feel. Number 8, being around harmful people. Well, obviously that's not going to be healthy. And again, it's important to talk about your needs, your wants, and not just shove things under the rug like it's, not a big deal or not important, or just completely avoid it altogether and pretend like nothing's wrong. And then number 9 is if aggression is how you get what you want. So if you're in a family unit where the only way that you are heard is through yelling or crying, that is so sad. Like, I was just in a relationship, and I feel like the only way I was heard was if I was yelling or crying. It was very sad. So, you are entitled to be respected. Every human should feel like, they deserve to be respected. We deserve to be respected. If you are in a relationship or family unit where any one or more of your family members are, the only way that like they're getting what they want, whether it's a parent or a child, is through aggression, that is not okay. It's not healthy, and there's a way to be assertive without being aggressive. And if you're calmly speaking and, telling somebody how you feel, perhaps proposing a solution, asking questions to try to make something better, just being curious of how to improve the situation overall, and that is not being received well, that's not in a safe environment for you to be in. So now that we are aware of dysfunctional behavior, just a few of them, perhaps in a family setting, I must say that I'm not a licensed therapist. I am a yogi and more of a spiritual teacher, but I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. You're not crazy for wanting to talk to someone and for needing support. Also, I've noticed that depending on where you live, there's like a stigma with seeking therapy. When I lived in LA, it was like totally normal. Everyone had a therapist. It was like cool thing to do. Kind of in the Midwest, there was like more of a stigma to it. But let me tell you, therapy is so healthy. There should be no shame in seeking therapy. It's actually smart. And not only will you be doing yourself a favor, but you'll be doing a favor to everyone around you as well. It has the potential to improve your relationships because instead of venting to your friends or family, you have a safe third party to trust that's not allowed to talk about what you're sharing with anybody else because that's part of their profession. So I'm not a therapist or licensed professional by any means. Um, I'm just a yogi, like I said, who's, into my own personal growth. So if you are noticing some of these behaviors as relevant to your family presently or in the past, and if you're committed to your own growth and healing, then I would encourage you to seek out mentors who you can speak with and a licensed psychologist who can help you. So hopefully that was helpful, guys, and comment below and like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I just care about helping you, making the world a better place. So check out my next video and talk to you soon.